On a vessel operating at Royal Romance Sea Operations level, meaning high-end private charter, VIP guest protocols, and tightly controlled crew systems, how you board determines everything that follows. Comfort, privacy, service speed, even safety response times, all of it is shaped in the first minutes before you even see the main deck. And here's the consequence most people never think about. If you get onboarding wrong, you don't just feel out of place. You get placed in the wrong operational flow. That means slower service, restricted access zones, missed experiences, and in some cases, full itinerary delays because crew have to correct your onboarding status manually. But if you follow the exact sequence I'm about to break down, you move like a pre-cleared guest. Cleaner access, faster service, higher privacy tier, and zero friction with crew operations from day one. This is SHIPVERSE, and today you're learning how real superyacht onboarding actually works behind the scenes. Bot 1. Pre-arrival synchronization. Confirm your operational profile before arrival. Though you even step near the yacht, your identity, preferences, and access level are already being loaded into the ship's guest management system. Why it matters. Superyachts don't check you in at the dock. They preload your entire experience. If your profile is incomplete, crew have to guess your preferences, which slows everything down for hours. What goes wrong if skipped? Delayed boarding, missing dietary setup, wrong cabin temperature settings, and inconsistent service response from different crew members. Pro tip. Experienced guests send a preference brief 24-48 hours before arrival. Not just food, but sleep schedule, scent preferences, privacy level, and movement restrictions on board. Coordinate arrival timing with tide and provisioning windows. This isn't a hotel lobby. Arrival timing is tied to fuel, provisions loading, and marina clearance windows. Why it matters. Arriving during provisioning creates chaos at the gangway and delays luggage transfer to cabins. What goes wrong if skipped? You may board while crew are still loading supplies, meaning you enter a semi-operational work zone instead of a prepared guest environment. Pro tip. The smoothest arrivals are usually early morning or late afternoon when provisioning is complete and crew shift changes are done. Bot 2. Dockside boarding protocol. Gangway transition discipline. Moment you step onto the gangway, you're entering a controlled operational space. Why it matters. This is where security, guest tracking, and crew assignment protocols begin. What goes wrong if skipped? Incorrect identity tagging in the guest system, which can affect access to restricted areas like bridge decks or crew-managed lounges. Pro tip. Always move with one designated crew escort. Don't wander or stop mid-gangway. Experienced guests know this keeps your onboarding status clean in the system. Luggage separation protocol. Your luggage is not handled like a hotel bellhop situation. Why it matters. Bags are scanned, assigned, and routed by cabin tier priority. What goes wrong if skipped? Delayed unpacking, missing items in your cabin, or luggage being placed in temporary holding instead of your suite. Pro tip. Mark essential items separately. Crew always prioritize immediate use bags first, especially medication, formal wear, or electronics. Bot 3. Cabin integration and environmental setup. Cabin orientation and systems briefing. Inside, your cabin is not just shown to you, it is calibrated. Why it matters. Lighting, humidity, sound insulation, and climate systems are adjusted based on guest profile. What goes wrong if skipped? Uncomfortable sleeping conditions, incorrect lighting cycles, and unnecessary crew intervention later. Pro tip. Seasoned guests immediately confirm sleep mode settings first. This ensures overnight comfort is optimized from day one. Personal space mapping. Crew establish invisible boundaries around your cabin routine. Why it matters. This determines when housekeeping enters. how often minibar is restocked, and how privacy requests are handled, what goes wrong if skipped, unexpected entry into your cabin during rest hours, or repeated interruptions during private time. Pro tip: always define no service windows early, usually 2 4-hour blocks during rest or calls. Fee 4. Crew alignment and service calibration. Assign your primary liaison crew member. You don't interact with every crew member equally. One person becomes your operational interface. Why it matters. Consistency reduces communication errors and speeds up service delivery. What goes wrong if skipped? Conflicting instructions given to different staff, leading to delays or duplicated services. Pro tip: high-end guests memorize one name and use it consistently. It creates smoother service flow and faster response times. Establish preference hierarchy. This is where luxury becomes operational. Why it matters. Crew prioritize requests based on your preset hierarchy, comfort, diet, privacy, or schedule. What goes wrong if skipped? Your requests are treated as equal priority, which can slow urgent needs. Pro tip: experienced guests always rank sleep and privacy above dining preferences. It reduces onboard friction significantly. 5. Operational zone awareness. Understand restricted versus guest zones. A superyacht is divided into operational layers. Why it matters. Crossing into restricted zones interrupts crew workflow and triggers security reminders. What goes wrong if skipped? Accidental access to bridge or service corridors, which disrupts navigation and operations. Pro tip: ask for a soft map briefing during the first hour on board. Not all yachts provide physical maps, but verbal orientation is standard in high-end operations. Donming awareness for service cycles. Everything on board runs in cycles: cleaning, dining prep, navigation checks, and leisure windows. Why it matters. Aligning with cycles ensures instant service instead of waiting. What goes wrong if skipped? Delays in meals, missed excursions, or crowded deck spaces during maintenance. Pro tip: experienced guests never request major services during crew transition windows, usually early morning and late evening shifts. Phase 6. First 24-hour optimization. Window recalibrate your comfort settings after first night. Your first night is data collection for the crew. Why it matters. Adjustments are made based on your real sleep patterns and behavior, not assumptions. What goes wrong if skipped? You continue with suboptimal settings for the entire trip. Pro tip: small feedback early, like pillow firmness or cabin temperature, creates huge improvements for the rest of the voyage. Sync your itinerary participation level. You are not forced into every activity. Participation levels are adjustable. Why it matters. Yachts optimize fuel, staffing, and scheduling based on guest engagement. What goes wrong if skipped? Being scheduled into activities you don't actually want, wasting both time and crew resources. Pro tip: experienced guests clearly define active versus rest days immediately after boarding. Traps to avoid onboard Superyacht Royal Romance operations. First trap: assuming everything is flexible without communication on superyachts. Silence is interpreted as confirmation, not preference. Dockhand trap: wandering without crew awareness. It disrupts operational security and can temporarily lock access zones. Third trap: last-minute preference changes. These are possible, but they always slow down service efficiency. Fourth trap: ignoring onboarding briefing details. Most guests forget half of what they're told in the first hour, but those details control the entire trip experience. Here's the truth most first-time guests never realize. Superyacht doesn't adapt to you automatically. It adapts based on how clearly and early you define your presence within its system. Get that right, and everything feels invisible. Service appears instantly. Spaces stay perfectly prepared, and the entire yacht seems to anticipate your needs. Get it wrong, and even luxury feels slow. If you've ever been on a yacht or even a cruise and noticed how some people seem to get better treatment without asking, what do you think makes the difference? Experience, timing, or something most guests never see?